The Beast cookies were once cookies of which granted virtue, 5 of which were bestowed by powerful, untainted power, which represented the 5 guiding pillars of existence within Earthbread. Today, we'll discuss the 5 main types of magic used in Cookie Run Kingdom, and why I ultimately believe that the Beast cookies, well, some of them, are the founders, or at the very least, have close ties to the 5 main magic types in-game. Though I do want to note that these are purely theoretical in nature, with very little information to base things off of other than conclusions I drew from implied interactions and other game stories. Quick disclaimer though, I will once again mention religious themes and the likes, and I do not mean to offend or insult anyone with my interpretations. If I do present an argument which is false, do kindly point it out in the comment section and I will gladly acknowledge and verify it. Without further ado, we'll analyze the 5 magic types ranked from most likely to be related to a beast cookie to the biggest stretch I could concoct out of nowhere. Starting off strong with the Forbidden One, Dark Moon magic is a part of the 5 main arcane magic types in-game, with only 3 known users consisting of White Lily, Pure Vanilla, and Shadow Milk. Dark Moon magic's description consists of the following. An adept of the school must be extremely cautious when dealing with its treacherous energy, as its source lies on the dark side of the moon. Forming an interdependent energetic cycle with the white magic of this school is just as cold. I'd like to point out the specific mention of the dark side of the moon within its description. As we all know from Shadow Milk's dialogue within the 2nd episode of Beast East, titled Sweet Whispers of Lies, this goofy jester claimed that he was a resident of this so-called dark side of the moon. And this train of thought is further cemented by the prevalence of the blue-eyed motifs within Shadow Milk's assets, with this photo of the dark moon magic symbol primarily consisting of a crescent moon with 7 triangles within it, an open eye with 6 eyelashes, and an iris containing a star with 6 points. We can confidently connect Shadow Milk's heavy involvement with the usage of this forbidden magic type. First, let's take a closer look within Shadow Milk's gacha animation. From this photo, we can clearly see a total of 4 moon-like celestial objects, namely the dark side of the moon as a sleeping crescent, the symbol of dark moon magic itself, the symbol of white magic, and a sun with both the crescent's eye closed and the light moon side having its eye open. This could imply a few things. For one, it could be telling us that Shadow Milk can use both white magic and dark moon magic before, or that he could be the potential founder for both. Another thing is that this could also mean that he is the founder of dark moon magic, as not only does he call the dark side of the moon as his home, but the main motif of the symbol itself is an open eye, which we could say resembles both Shadow Milk's soul gem and his overall skill effects. However, I'd like for you to focus your attention on a very specific detail. If we count the number of triangles on the original symbol of dark moon magic, we would count a total of 7 pointy triangles. However, the version of this symbol on Shadow Milk's gacha animation consists of 8 triangles, which coincides with the number of rays on this part of the animation, and the number of points on this star-like symbol in Shadow Milk's animation. You may be wondering what this implies for Shadow Milk's existence. Let's start with the potential biblical connotation of the number 8. In the context of Jesus Christ's life, it was stated in the Bible that he rose from the dead on the 8th day, or as we'd like to call it, Easter Sunday. Thus, we can draw a possible correlation on the usage of the number 8, a symbol for a new beginning, rebirth, or the rise of something powerful. Now, this aligns the most with my speculation that Shadow Milk is most likely the founder of both Dark Moon Magic and the Blueberry Yogurt Academy. For those who are uninformed, the Blueberry Yogurt Academy is the academy that Pure Vanilla and White Lily Cookie used to attend. Out of boredom and her curiosity, White Lily skipped her classes in pursuit of finding the ultimate recipe to prolong the life of cookies. In other words, she wanted every cookie to be crunchier and less crumbly to create the perfect ultimate cookie. Countless failed experiments led to a terrifying conclusion. She wanted to resort to imbuing a portion of the first headmaster's soul into their experiments to solve their dilemma and give life to a cookie. Eventually, Pure Vanilla disliked this idea greatly, yet White Lily still said, "I don't care," and proceeded to use dark moon magic and caused everything to go haywire. While the specifics of how her usage of magic afflicted everyone in the academy with a curse remain unclear, what is clear is the association of the dark moon magic and the inevitable destruction of the academy. It is very likely that her usage of dark moon magic broke open the dimensional portal that the headmasters of the Forgotten Academy had long fought to keep closed. Now, the question is, how does all of this relate to Shadow Milk and dark moon magic as a whole? Well, to answer that, we'd have to take a closer look at the first headmaster's story and portrait. White Lily says that the first headmaster taught the cookies how to practice magic, which is in line with Shadow Milk's whole shtick. As we all know, Shadow Milk is the fount of knowledge and a magic type as well. Along with this, we also had confirmation from the devs themselves that Shadow Milk's canonical uncorrupted name was Blueberry Milk. This would somewhat make sense, as the academy was called Blueberry Yogurt, and yogurt is the product after one processes and ferments milk. Thus, it is logical to assume that Shadow Milk either was the first headmaster, given that his original form and the headmaster's portrait look quite alike, or the first headmaster is a disciple or creation of his, who, upon Shadow Milk's fall from grace, passed down his knowledge and constructed the academy to protect the students from the remnants of Shadow Milk's corruption. After all, it would be irrational to create an academy with an active threat residing within one of its halls and tasking a long line of headmasters to protect it, especially since apparently the threat could corrupt life forms and end the lives of several faculty and students. Therefore, we can conclude that the academy was, at first, Blueberry's institution, and upon his corruption, he created a dimensional portal with aims to spread his ideals of deceit to the blooming generation of talented cookies who choose to study right there. A direct opposite of dark moon magic, this magic type is mostly known for healing. Specifically, its description says the following: a school of magic that draws its power from celestial bodies emanating light, such as the full moon. White magic is often associated with healing. This magic is considered cold and pristine, and its energy is the colors white or cyan. Albeit Mystic Flower is not associated with any specific celestial body, she can be seen as a source of saintly divine light on several instances within her cutscenes and gacha animations. Along with its associations with healing, which Mystic Flower is definitely a part of given that she is a healer, she has the motifs of a bright guiding light as part of her theme and in the form of her little lantern. We could interpret this as her being a somewhat powerful source of this kind of magic. She might not necessarily be the founder of white magic, but she definitely is either a user or at least used to when she was still uncorrupted from before. Now, I am getting this conclusion based on White Lily's part of the story, given that we don't really have that much information on Silent Salt, but nature magic is described as such. This elemental magic is used by nature spirits, fairies, and beasts. Peaceful entities usually call upon the elements of grass, water, and wind for protection, while destructive beings can wield the powers of fire or earth. As we all know, White Lily went to Beast East in search of answers on how to successfully create the ultimate cookies, specifically within Elder Fairy's domain, which, as we all know, are heavily intertwined with nature and other such things. Now, the middle symbol sort of reminds me of this loading screen, with Wind Archer pointing his arrow at the beasts seemingly locked up in a tree or whatever that square thing is. Now, what does this have to do with Silent Salt Cookie? Well, basing it off with what they did on the promotional trailer for Beast Cookies, but from what we could see in that video, they were able to slash the moon in half, which, as we all know, Moonlight Cookie is the elemental guardian of. This might be a gigantic, monumental stretch, but it would kind of make sense should Silent Salt have heavy connotations with nature, given that their domain resides in the mountains. Now, dessert magic stems from one main emotion, happiness. Specifically, the description for this magic type says the following. This peculiar school of magic springs from the delightfulness of sugars, creams, and chocolates. The greater and tastier the dessert, the more potent the magic energy. Adepts of dessert magic strive to make the world a happier place through the evocation of the brightest emotions. Although there are no strong direct correlations with eternal sugar on this type of magic, the last part heavily implies that this magic strives to alter the caster's targets emotionally through the evocation of the brightest emotions. Eternal sugar certainly fits the bill for this one, as it would make sense how the bringer of happiness herself, made of sugar, which, as I've said from my previous analysis, induces feelings of happiness, would be an adept user of this magic type. This is probably one of the weakest links we have, along with burning spices. No amount of daily PU warm-ups could compare to the stretch that I will be exhibiting in this section, but bear with me for a second please. After all, the description for this type of magic says the following. Unlike other schools of magic that rely on the moon and other celestial bodies, this magic draws upon the cosmic void. Black magic grants dangerous and destructive abilities such as mind control, transfiguration, curses, and other powers manipulating the very principles of nature. Now, I will be dropping the ball here. No, I highly doubt that Burning Spice is the founder for this school of magic. Does bro even wield magic? For all we know, he just smashes things together with an axe and would rather use raw strength than resort to anything cowardly like magic. Now, I am quite sure that black magic might be something that Dark Enchantress Cookie herself founded. After all, the motifs of black and red, along with her ability to destroy a lot of things and her disciples also wielding this magic, only proves to us that it is very likely that she either invented or discovered this. Given that White Lily's entire research focused on her manipulating the principles of nature, as her desire to prolong the lives of cookies led to her resorting to the destruction of the Blueberry Academy, Dark Enchantress would most likely use this magic as it is derived from the void itself. Additionally, curses, transfiguration, and mind control all sound in character with the entire Cookies of Chaos thing. I really think that Dark Enchantress is definitely the type to rely on literally nothing to cause chaos and harm in Earthbred as she furthers her selfish goals. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you for tuning into my new series, and I sincerely thank you for your support. Oh well, I'll be off to make new videos now. Toodaloo!